this subject, because in this semester this subject we learn this converters which output is control AC in terms of control voltage and control frequency. So as you know that first chapter we have studied, that is inverter, which converts the DC to AC. So by using the inverter we can get the controlled AC in terms of voltage as well as in terms of frequency. We can change the voltage as well as frequency of the AC supply at the output side. So whatever the output of the inverter, control voltage or control frequency that you can apply to the AC motor, so that will control the speed as well as torque of the motor. Okay, so that's called as the AC drives. Motor with controller, this combination is called as a drives. Okay, same way in the next chapter we have learned this AC voltage controller. So as you know that AC voltage controller, that is one of the AC to AC converter which can control only the magnitude of output voltage. Your output is AC, but it just controls the magnitude of voltage. So as we know that if you change the supply voltage given to the AC motor, that will change the speed of the motor. Okay. So if you require the voltage control to control the speed of the motor, then you can go for this AC voltage control. Then after we learn the cyclo converter. So cyclo converter is also gives a controlled AC, but that will control the frequency most of the times. That can also control the voltage, but most of the times that can be used to control the frequency. So as you know that as the frequency is controlled, we can control the speed of the AC motor. So there are three different types of AC drives can be available, like first for based on the inverter, second based on the AC voltage controller, and third one is based on the cyclo converters. And sometimes we can also use the inverter, chopper and rectifier combination. So that we will see the later on in this lecture how AC drive works. So in the last semester PD1 you have to understand the DC drives, how to control the speed of this DC motors like DC series motors, shunt motors. Okay, so in that subject you have learned this DC controller like choppers and rectifiers. So the DC motor requires a control voltage or control power, so that you can get by using the rectifier, which can control the AC into control DC, as well as you can get from this chopper circuit, which can control the fixed DC into variable AC or variable DC to fixed DC. So DC drive we use the two converter, rectifier and chopper, where here in the AC drives we can use the three converters like inverter, AC voltage controller and cyclo converters. Clear? So these three converter we have learned in this subject. So this subject we have learned the AC drive subject. Okay. So let's try to understand the basic concept of AC drive with the definition. So AC motor drives used in many industrial and domestic applications like in conveyor belts, in lift, mixture, escalator and cranes. So these are the application of AC drives. What are the advantages of AC drives as compared to the DC drives? So first advantage that it is a light in weight. For the same rating of AC and DC motor, the AC drives which is in lighter in weight because 20 or 40% lighter than DC motors. AC motor is 20 to 40% lighter than equivalent rating of the DC motors. As we know that in the AC motor generally we use the synchronous motor or induction motor. Okay, but in normal application in the industry generally 70 to 80% industry we use the induction motor drives, because the control of the induction motor drive is very easy. Second advantage of AC motor as compared to the DC motor is inexpensive. AC drive is less costlier than the DC motor drives. That is the second advantage. Third advantage that low maintenance is required. In the AC motor, we require the less maintenance as compared to the DC motor. As you know that in the DC motor there is a brush there is a sparking happens in the commutation, so you require the continuous maintenance of the DC motor, where it is not required in the AC motors like induction motor. So that's why AC drive is low maintenance drives as compared to the DC drives. Fourth one is it can work in hazardous area. It means AC motor or AC drive that can be worked in hazardous area like chemical process plant, petrochemical plants, where DC motor cannot work in this type of area, because as you know that at the DC motor there is a sparking happen at the commutator. So if you use the DC motor in this such of area like chemical plant or petrochemical plants, then it will create a large hazardous to the industries. Clear? So because of this reason, AC motor can work in this type of application like chemical process plant, but cannot use for the DC motors because it is unsuitable for such type of environments. So this is the fourth advantage of using the AC drive. Now what are the disadvantage of AC drive? So first disadvantage that the power control of the AC drive is relatively complex and more expensive. The control is expensive and complex of the AC drive as compared to the DC motor drive. This is the first disadvantage. Second disadvantage that power converter for the AC drive generate the harmonics. So here as we know that AC drive we use the inverter, AC voltage controller and cyclo converter. So this type of power converter that will generate the large amount of harmonics as compared to the DC drive. So that is the second disadvantage of using the AC drive. Now, as you see that only these two disadvantage, but the advantage of the AC drive is more. So advantage of the AC drive that outweigh that disadvantages. So for most of the industrial application, we generally prefer to use the AC drives. So as we know, there are two types of AC motor which we use for AC drive. One is synchronous motor and another is induction motor drives. In the induction motor again there are two categories. One is squirrel cage induction motor and wound rotor induction motor. Yeah. So let's just understand the basic overview. I know all of you understand, all of you know the induction motor basic components, how it is working. So basically there are three parts in the induction motor, three-phase induction motor. First is stator winding, three-phase stator winding. Then second is air gap between stator and rotor winding. If it is a wound rotor, if it is a squirrel cage induction motor, then there is an aluminum or copper bar in the rotor that is short circuited by the two end rings at both the end. And if it is a wound rotor, then three-phase winding like stator winding. So there are three parts: stator, rotor and air gap in the three-phase induction motor. That is a basic component of induction motor. Now, when you apply the three-phase supply to the stator winding, what will happen? The rotating magnetic field is produced, and this speed of this rotating magnetic field that is called as a synchronous speed, and that we denoted by Ws. So synchronous speed equation in terms of radian per second, you can write down like this way: 2 omega divided by P. Omega is the supply frequency and omega s is the synchronous speed in radian per second. Or you can also write down the speed in RPM, 120 F by P. F is the supply frequency, P is the number of poles of the stator. So that gives the synchronous speed in RPM. So Ws, that is the synchronous speed in radian per second, Ns is the synchronous speed in RPM, P is the number of poles, omega is the supply frequency in radian per second, F is supply frequency in hertz, and Nm is the actual motor speed. Now, if we derive if you know the equation of rotor speed, actual motor speed or rotor speed, that is denoted by omega s into 1 minus s. S is the slip of induction motor, and omega s is the synchronous speed in radian per second. So that gives the actual motor speed or rotor speed in radian per second. So as we know the equation of slip, S is equal to omega s minus omega n divided by omega s, or you can write down in terms of RPM, Ns minus Nm upon Ns. Clear? So these are the basic equation of motor speed and slip. Now, before we going to discuss the detail about the AC drives, particularly for the induction motor drives, we just first understand the characteristics of the performance characteristics of the induction motor and try to derive the equation of torque, starting torque and maximum torque of the induction motor. So before first discuss the equivalent circuit of the induction motor. So as you already learned, the equivalent circuit of induction motor is represented like this way. So here at the input side supply voltage you given, that is V1. Stator winding resistance and inductive reactance, that is R1 and X1. I1 is the current flowing into the stator. Then at the rotor side, reactance and resistance is represented by this way. X2 is the reactance, leakage reactance per phase of the rotor winding, and R2 is the resistance per phase of the rotor winding, and Xm, that is the magnetizing reactance of the induction motor. So by this way you can represent the induction motor. But if you assume that for the simplification that input side resistance and inductance if has a very low value or negligible as compared to the rotor side, or you can see that the voltage drop across this R1 and X1 is very low or negligible, then the terminal voltage V1 here at the supply side, that is remains same at this across this inductive reactance. So another way you can represent the equivalent circuit of induction motor like this way. You transfer this magnetizing reactance to input side or stator side and represent the R1 X1 here at this side. So this is the simplified version of the equivalent circuit of the three-phase induction motor. So from this simplified circuit we can derive the equation of stator and rotor current I1 and I2. So that from this I1 and I2 you can find out the performance parameter of the three-phase induction motors. So first of all, we first derive the equation or write down the equation of R2. I2 means rotor current. So I2 is the rotor current. You can see that flow from R1, X1, X2 and R2 by S. This is the equivalent circuit. So if you derive the equation of I2 rotor current, that is equal to what? Supply voltage here at this point the voltage is V1 divided by whole impedance of this circuit. So R2 plus R2 by S plus inductive reactance of this circuit, which is JX1 plus X2. So this is the equation of rotor current. Now in the second case, how much power loss happen in the rotor circuit or copper loss happen in the rotor circuit? So as we know that depend upon the resistance and depend upon the rotor current I2. So 3 I2 square into R2, that is the rotor copper loss. You can also call as the ohmic loss. Now how much power develop on air gap? Power from stator to rotor through the air gap. So power in the air gap, that is what 3 I2 square R2A divided by S. That is the power transfer from stator to rotor through the air gap. So this is the air gap power. Now rotor copper loss is what? 3 I2 square into R2. Now how much power develop in the rotor? So power developed in the rotor is equal to power in the air gap minus this copper loss. So developed power in the rotor is equal to PG air gap power minus rotor ohmic loss. So if you subtract this equation from this PG, so you get 3 I2 square R2 into 1 minus S divided by S. Now how much torque is developed? So as we know that torque is nothing but power divided by speed in radian per second. So torque of the induction motor, electromagnetic torque, PE is equal to PM divided by omega M. So PM is what? That is the power developed in the rotor divided by speed of the motor or rotor. So that gives the electromagnetic torque developed in the motor. So Pm is 3I2 square R2 into 1 minus S divided by S and divide by omega m. So omega m is what? Motor speed. So motor speed is equal to what? Omega S into 1 minus S. Omega S is the synchronous speed, S is the slip. As we have seen in the previous slide, equation of slip, this one. Yes, and rotor speed. So omega m is equal to what? Omega S into 1 minus S. So we replace this omega m by this equation. So you get the equation of torque, this one, and 3 divided by omega S. Now simplifying this, 1 minus S, 1 minus is cancelled out here. So finally equation of torque becomes 3 divided by omega S, I2 square into R2 divided by S. So as you know that 3 I2 square R2 by S, this is nothing but air gap power. So this one is replaced by PG. So electromagnetic torque is equal to air gap power PG divided by synchronous speed. Yeah. This is another equation of torque is motor power or power developed in rotor divided by motor speed. Another equation is that air gap power divided by synchronous speed. Now, if we put the value of rotor current in the torque equation that we have derived here, rotor current is equal to this one. If we put this value of current equation in the equation of rotor torque, so rotor torque equation here you can see that there is a I2 square. So if you put the equation of I2 here in this torque equation, so finally equation of torque becomes 3 divided by omega S V1 square divided by R1 plus R2 by S whole square plus X1 plus X2 whole square into R2 by S. So this is a new equation of torque, electromagnetic torque. Now, as we know that the motor input, power input given is equal to air gap power plus stator core loss and stator copper loss. So output power of the shaft, that is equal to what? Mechanical power developed in the rotor minus friction and windage losses, that we can also call as a fixed loss. So this is the equation of power, input power and output power. This is the input power P and this is the output power. So from this two power we can find out the efficiency of the motor. It is shaft power divided by input power. Now from this equation we can get the shaft torque. So shaft torque, it means torque developed in the shaft of the motor, that is equal to shaft power, or you can say that output power divided by actual speed of the rotor. So actual speed of the rotor is replaced by Ws into 1 minus S. So this is the another equation of torque, but this is the shaft torque. Now we find out the maximum torque happen in the induction motor. So at the maximum torque at which the equation of slip is equal to Sm is equal to R2 divided by square root of R1 square plus X1 plus X2 square. I think all of you have learned this equation or derived this equation when you study the induction motor, the slip at the which maximum torque happens. So this is the equation of slip where torque developed in the induction motor is maximum. So I am not going to derive this equation because you already learned this theory. So just understand that this is the equation of slip at which maximum torque happen in the induction motors. Now if you put this value of slip in the equation of torque, so that will give the maximum torque of the induction motor. So here you can see that electromagnetic torque equation is this, in which it is depend upon the slip. Here is a slip and here is also slip. So if you replace this S by this slip at which maximum torque happens, so that will give the maximum torque of the induction motor. So this slip equation put in this equation of electromagnetic torque. So now the final value of maximum torque becomes this one. So this is the equation of maximum torque happen in the induction motors. So let's try to understand the torque speed characteristic of induction motor. So here in the x-axis there is a torque. You can see that here is the torque in the x-axis. In the y-axis there is a speed or slip. Here, as you know that speed and slip are interrelated. As the speed of induction motor, actual speed of the induction motor is increases, slip will reduces. That we know that. Slip 0 at this point, it means that speed of the induction motor is same as the synchronous speed. Clear? But that is not actually happen here. So this is a 0 slip. It means maximum speed. Here at this point slip is 1. This is a slip 1. It means that your motor is in standstill condition. It means actual speed of the rotor is 0. So as you know the equation of slip, S is equal to ns minus n divided by ns. So if n is 0 or speed of the rotor is 0, then what slip is becomes 1. And this is the slip is equal to 2. It means when your induction motor is rotated in the reverse direction and with the synchronous speed, at that time gives the slip is equal to 2 times. So let's see the speed torque characteristic of the induction motor. So as you can see that at the starting of the induction motor, the speed of the rotor is 0. It means slip is 1. So it means that speed torque characteristic is start from here at this point where slip is 1. And as the motor gain the speed and slip will reduces from 1 to 0, you can see that torque of the induction motor that will increases. You can see that as the speed of the motor is increases and slip is reduces, the torque of the induction motor is increases. And at a particular point or particular speed, you get the maximum torque. And at this point of time, the slip is called as a SM, where the maximum torque is happen. Here. So at this point of time, the torque is maximum and your slip we call as a SM, where the maximum torque is happens. And after that maximum torque, if you again increase the speed of induction motor, what will happen? Again the slip will reduces, but after that your torque of the induction motor that will reduces. And it becomes 0 at the slip becomes 0. It means when your actual speed of the motor becomes synchronous speed, at that point of time the torque developed in the motor becomes 0. Clear? So this is the torque speed characteristic in the forward motoring mode when we rotate the motor in the forward direction, and this is the characteristic in the third quadrant when reverse motoring is happens. It means reverse plugging is happens. In this case, you can see that torque will reduces as the motor gain the speed in the reverse direction. But generally we operate the induction motor in this forward motoring region to control the speed and torque. So this is the basic torque speed characteristic. So if you understand this basic torque speed characteristic, then you can able to how to control the speed and torque of the induction motor. So thereafter this topic will understand how to control the speed and torque of the induction motor by using the power converters. Yeah. So I hope all of you have understand the concept, this one, how to control speed and torque of the induction motor. So as you can see that three-phase induction motor that is energized from the three-phase voltage of constant frequency, and motor torque, as we know, that is a function of slip. So for different value of slip, the speed torque characteristic of the induction motor is different. As you can see that when slip is less than Sn, it means less than maximum torque slip, at this time the stator current is not high. You can see that at this point of time when slip is less than Sn in this region, at this time the stator current is low. But as you increase the value of slip, the stator current will increase. Clear? And what will happen, as the stator current is less, the air gap flux is remain constant in this case at the starting here. But as the slip will increase, the stator current will increase, so that will increase the flux and that will change the torque and speed of the induction motor. So this is all about the torque speed characteristic of induction motor. Now let's again analyze this circuit and find out the equation of actual speed of the motor's torque. So if the stator resistance R1 of the root stator is neglected because the value is very small, in this case we get the maximum value of slip and the equation of slip becomes R2 divided by x1 plus x2. So this equation, if we put in the equation of torque, so torque equation becomes this. Give the name equation number A. So you can see that the torque equation is directly proportional to the square of the voltage, square of the supply voltage V1, and inversely proportional to the omega s. Omega s is the supply synchronous speed in terms of radian per second. So it means that is depend upon the frequency. It means torque is inversely proportional to frequency and directly proportional to the square of the supply voltage. So from this concept, we can control the torque and speed of the induction motor. So let's try to understand that by using which method we can control the speed of the induction motor. So three-phase induction motor is generally suited to fulfill the demand of the load which require the constant speed. Okay. But several applications in industry we require the adjustable speed for the efficient operation. So object of this chapter is to understand the principle of speed control techniques we use in the three-phase induction motor through the use of power electronics converters. So through the power electronics converter, there are various methods by which we can control the speed. So there are 6 methods. First method is stator voltage control. Second is stator frequency control. It means by changing the stator supply frequency, we can control the speed. Third is stator voltage and frequency control. It means V by F control. Generally we call as a VFD drives, variable frequency drives. Fourth one is stator current control. Fifth one is static rotor resistance control. It means by changing the rotor resistance can control the speed of induction motor. And last one is slip energy recovery control. So by all these 6 methods we can control the speed of the three-phase induction motor. So let's one by one we understand all this method of speed control of induction motor. First one is stator voltage control. It means by changing the supply voltage given to the induction motor, we can control the speed of the induction motor. So as we already studied in the last slide, that torque is directly proportional to the square of the supply voltage. So as you change the voltage, torque will change, and that torque will change the speed of the induction motor. So let's try to understand by the basic. So equation of torque that we derive first, that is 3 by omega s. K is the factor by which you can reduce the voltage by using the converter. That is a factor by which you can reduce the stator voltage by using the controller. And this is the resistance of the equivalent circuit. So as you can see that as you reduce or increase the voltage, torque will change. And as we see that torque speed characteristic of the induction motor, as you change the torque, speed of the induction motor will also change. Yeah. So how to control the voltage? How we can control the supply voltage given to the induction motor? So as we know that we have learned this AC voltage controller. We have learned the single phase AC voltage controller. Same way you can use a 3-phase AC voltage controller So by using three-phase AC voltage controller, you can change the supply voltage given to the three-phase induction motor. So here you can see that the three-phase AC voltage controller. This is a single phase, A phase, B phase, and C phase. We already learned the basic concept of AC voltage controller. Two thyristor in anti-parallel. By changing the firing angle control of both the thyristor, we can control the magnitude of output voltage. So same way here, by controlling the firing angle of all the 6 thyristor of each phase, we can control the magnitude of three-phase output voltage. So this control output voltage of this controller applied to the three-phase induction motor. So by this way, we can control the torque and speed of the induction motor. So this is a simple concept by which we can control the speed as well as torque of the induction motor. So let's try to understand it by speed torque characteristics. So here you can see that there are two characteristics. This is a one characteristic with K is equal to 1. It means at the rated voltage. Without control of the voltage, what is the torque speed characteristic? So you can see this is the normal characteristic at the rated speed. And second, this is a characteristic at the reduced voltage with K is equal to 0.5. It means by reducing the voltage by 50% to the rated voltage, it gives these torque speed characteristics. So you can see that the maximum torque will reduce and overall torque at the different speed is also reduced. And this one is the load torque. The load which is connected to this induction motor. So that gives a load torque characteristics. So here in the normal condition at a rated speed, your motor is operated at the point A. Because at point A, the load torque and speed torque characteristic of the motor is intersect. So this is the operating point of the induction motor at the normal rated voltage. Now when you reduce the voltage, K is equal to 0.5 times or half of the supply voltage, then you can see that this torque speed characteristic become this. Your load torque is, that characteristic is remain as it is, but it is intersect with the torque speed characteristic of motor at point B here. So it means that you can see that the speed of the induction motor that will reduces as compared to the rated voltage. As compared to the rated voltage, your motor will operate at point A, it means at this speed, and with the reduced voltage, your motor will operate at point B. So at point B, you can see that speed is reduced as compared to point A, because the x-axis there is a speed axis. So as compared to A point, the speed at point B is less. It means that at the reduced voltage, you can get the reduced speed. So depending upon the requirement of the speed, you change the speed, you change the voltage by using this controller, so that you can get the required speed of the three-phase induction. So this is the basic concept of stator voltage control. By changing the voltage, you can control the speed of the induction motor. I hope all of you have understand this concept. Is there any doubt? Anyone? Stator voltage control method? Anyone? Yes or no? Is there any doubt to anyone?
No, sir.
Okay. So let's move for the next topic. Yes, again, this is the same torque speed characteristic at the reduced voltage. You can see that Vs is the normal voltage, normal rated voltage. Vs1 is voltage less than supply, less than rated voltage. Vs2 is again less than the rated supply voltage. So you can see that this is the characteristic at rated voltage, and as you decrease the voltage, torque speed characteristic is going downwards. This red line is the load torque characteristics. So as you can see that as you decrease the voltage, the speed of the induction motor is reduces. Here in the x-axis there is a speed and slip. Here. So slip is moving from 0 to one side. It means that speed will reduces. Here. First rated voltage operating point is this. At that time speed is omega. At Vs1 voltage operating point is this one. Speed is omega 1. For VS2 voltage, torque speed characteristic is this intersecting point speed is omega 2. So omega 2 speed is less than omega 1 as well as omega. So as you decrease the voltage, speed will reduces. So this is a characteristic at different supply voltage. From this you can understand it. Let's understand the second control tactics, that is called as the stator frequency control. It means by changing the supply frequency given to the induction motor, you can control the speed of the induction motor. That we already know that, and that you can also see in the torque equation that it is torque is depend upon the speed or frequency or speed of the induction motor, because speed is depend upon the frequency. So as you change the frequency, synchronous speed will change, and as the synchronous speed will change, that will change the torque of the induction motor. So generally per phase equation of the induction motor, we know that is a root 2 pi f1 n1 phi into kW. So this is the expression of the per phase supply voltage of the induction motor. So under the rated voltage of V1 and frequency, what will happen? The flux is remain constant. For the rated voltage and frequency, if voltage and frequency both are constant at rated value, then the frequency is remain constant. But in case if the supply frequency is reduced with the constant voltage, what will happen? The air gap flux will increases. Supply voltage remain constant, supply frequency is reducing. So what will happen? The flux in the air gap of the induction motor, that will increases. And that for that, what will happen? If the flux is increases, the induction motor magnetic circuits get saturated if the flux will increases above the rated value. So in this case, the motor parameter will change, and that will lead inaccurate speed torque characteristic if the flux saturate the magnetic circuit of induction motor. And if again further you reducing the frequency, what will happen? The reactance of the motor, that becomes very low, and because of that the motor current increases, and that will create the huge copper loss, because more current is flowing because of the reducing the reactance. Ultimately the impedance of the motor is reducing, so copper loss is increases, and that will reduce the efficiency of induction motor. So due to this reason, the induction motor speed control with constant voltage and reduced frequency is rarely used in practice, because that will create the huge loss in the induction motor, and at the same time that will reduce the efficiency of the induction motor. So we generally not prefer to use to control the speed of the induction motor at reduced frequency, lower than the rated frequency. Now, second possibility of controlling the speed by using the frequency is that increase the supply frequency above the rated value. Like if you have rated value of frequency is 50 Hz, now increase the frequency above 50 Hz, like 60, 70, 80 Hz. So with the increased frequency and constant supply voltage, what will happen? The synchronous speed of the induction motor, that will increases. That will increase the speed of the motor, and with increase in the frequency, what will happen? The flux and torque of the induction motor, that will reduces. So induction motor performance at constant voltage and increased frequency, that will give the less torque and less flux, less air gap flux. So let's try to understand by using the equations. So I2 is the rotor current. Here we neglect the R1 because the value of R1 is very less as compared to the rotor resistance. So with this assumption, we derive the equation of I2 rotor current. So that is equal to V1 divided by R1 R2 I S1 whole square plus X1 plus X2 whole square raised to 1 by 2. If in this equation, if you replace this omega s by this value, So torque equation, we know that 3 divided by omega s I2 square into R2 by s. This equation we have derived in the previous slide. So in this equation, if you replace this omega s equation to omega 1 divided by p, so finally your equation of torque will become 3p divided by 2 omega 1. I2 is the rotor current. This equation of I2 put in this equation. So finally this is the equation of torque for the condition when we require the speed control by using changing the frequency. So as we know the equation of sleep is equal to F2 by F1. F2 is the rotor frequency, F1 is the stator frequency. So you can write down, or you can replace this sleep S here in this equation of torque by omega 2 divided by omega 1. So finally the next equation of torque is become this one. And in this equation of torque, as you can see that if you replace the sleep by the sleep at which maximum torque happens, it means replace sleep S is equal to R2 upon X1 plus X2 in this equation. So finally the equation of torque becomes maximum torque is equal to 3p divided by 2 omega 1 square into V1 square divided by L1 plus L2. I am not going into detail about this simplification because that is given in PS Bimra. This derivation is given. It's very simple. So final equation of maximum torque, that is directly proportional to the square of the voltage and inversely proportional to the stator supply frequency. Omega 1 is the speed in radian per second, and that speed is depend upon the supply frequency. So as you change the supply frequency, that will change the maximum torque of the induction motor. So let's try to understand it by using the torque speed characteristics. Here in this equation, maximum torque is equal to 3p divided by 2 omega 1 square V1 square divided by L1 plus L2. So at the constant rated voltage V1 square, 3p is the number of poles, that is constant, V1 square is constant, L1 plus L2, that is the inductance of stator and rotor, that is constant. So torque when is multiplied with this speed, this radian per second speed omega 1 square, so that gives the constant product Tem into omega 1 square is equal to remain constant. So for different value of speed, let's see the characteristic. So you can see that this product Tem, electromagnetic torque, maximum torque into angular speed omega 1 square, that product is remain constant, and that product is remain constant at different frequency. It means that will change the maximum torque, because this product will remain constant. If you change the omega 1 or if you change the frequency, then it will change the torque of the induction motor. So let's try to understand by this torque speed characteristic. So here omega 1 is equal to 1. It means at the normal frequency, at the normal rated speed, that motor gives the normal torque speed characteristic, this one. This is the speed torque characteristic without changing the frequency. It means now frequency is 50 Hz. Now assume that speed is increases by increasing the frequency of induction motor. So in the x-axis there is a speed given in per unit. So as you move in the y-axis upward, speed is increases by increasing the frequency of the induction motor. So you can see that at this frequency or at this speed, the torque speed characteristic will change. Here you increase the frequency, it means that will increase the speed. So what will happen? The maximum torque of the induction motor will reduce it, because this product is remain constant, because this value is remain constant. So you can see that the maximum torque here at the increased frequency, that is less than the maximum torque happens at the rated frequency. Rated frequency, this is the maximum torque. But at the increased frequency more than 50 hertz, as the speed is increases, the maximum torque will reduces. As again, if you increase the frequency 2 times the rated frequency here, so again you can see that the maximum torque and torque speed characteristic is different. You can see that this one. So it means that as you again increase the speed by increasing the frequency of the induction motor, that will change the torque speed characteristic as well as that will change the maximum torque of the induction motor. So this is the torque speed characteristic of the induction motor at the different frequency. Here we select the frequency more than the rated frequency because control of the induction motor speed at the below the rated speed is not feasible because as we understand previously that at the lower frequency the efficiency and losses of the induction motor will becomes very high. So generally if you control the speed of the induction motor by just changing the frequency, change the frequency above the rated speed. It means what? You can control the speed of the induction motor above the rated speed by using the frequency control. Suppose that your normal rated speed is 1200 rpm, synchronous speed is 1500 rpm. So by increasing the frequency, you can control the frequency. You can control the speed between 1200 rpm to 1500 rpm by changing the supply frequency. So this is the concept of stator frequency control to control the speed and torque of the induction motor. I hope all of you have understood this concept. Is there any doubt, anyone? In this case? Yes, anyone? Is there any doubt? Is there any question in this technique, stator frequency control technique? 18 number. Is there any doubt? 17 18 number.
Yes, sir.
Is there any doubt?
No, sir.
15 number. Divyaraj. 15 number Divyaraj. Are you present? 16 number Anjali. 16 number.
Yes, sir, no doubt.
Okay. So today here I stop this lecture up to this point. In the next lecture we will understand the next techniques like stator voltage frequency control, stator current control, all these techniques. Okay. So here I complete this lecture. Now after 5 minutes I will start the lab session. In the lab session we will try to understand the simulation of online and offline UPS. Okay. The theory of online and offline UPS we already studied in the last lecture. So in this lab session we try to understand the simulation in MATLAB. Okay. So all of you please leave this meeting. After 5 minutes I will send you the one of the link for the lab session. So after 5 minutes all of you join for the lab session. So all of you now please leave this meeting. So after 5 minute break we will start the lab session. Okay.
Thank you, sir.